Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ken, and I'm on a journey to lose as much weight as I possibly can so I can become a fat guy no more. So where did I leave off in the last video? I was at my primary care doctor's, and she had prescribed Mounjaro. Again, for those that don't know, Mounjaro is typically a diabetes medicine, but it has shown to be very effective in helping people lose weight. So I told her that I would try it for 3 months, and then we would decide if it was working for me and if it was worth continuing on. I am beyond that 3 months now, as I mentioned in the last video. So what this video is a recap of that first month. I'm gonna go week by week, basically just to have it all documented, because as I mentioned, I should have done this all along, but I didn't. So now I'm gonna recap it. So week one started September 2nd of this year. I took that first shot at about 9 a.m. I was just starting work. I was quite excited that morning to see how it would go. So I took the shot then, and I quickly realized that that was probably not a good thing, because about 6 hours later, I started feeling just blah, really, and I couldn't even finish my shift at work. So I logged off early, and I went and sat in my recliner for a little while, and by 5 o'clock, I felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck. The nausea set in, and I went to bed. And for the next 24 hours, I felt horrible. So bad that I was laying there thinking, if this is what it's going to be like, there's no way I'm getting through 3 months. I'm not even going to get beyond this one shot. I had that constant feeling like I was going to throw up. I had a headache, and I don't know. It was like I had the flu, but on steroids. I mean, it was bad, really bad. The next morning, I started feeling a little bit better. I was actually able to eat some. I pretty much spent that first week having mostly protein shakes, Fairlife, either 42 gram or 30 gram protein shakes. They are a godsend if you're going through something like this. They really help out. So that's what I had most of the time. One thing I did notice on top of all of that was that I went from sleeping really good to barely sleeping that first week. I mean, there were some nights where I would get 2 to 3 hours of sleep when I had been averaging 7 to 8 before it. It is one of the side effects, so I knew that's why I was having that problem, but it still sucked. As the week went on, I felt a little better, and I kept trying to hit my calories because my doctor wanted me to try to hit 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. I just couldn't eat that much. Absolutely could not eat that much. So as close as I got to it, it was only thankful to the fact that I was drinking 1 to 2 Dr. Peppers a day, 200 some calories per, so that really helped out. Eating avocados, anything that gave me an extra amount of calories to try to get up to that 1,800 to 2,000. And some days it was a struggle. So week one, my averages for the week, I averaged 1,623 calories a day, 129 grams of protein, 23 grams of fiber, and 1,181 milligrams of sodium. So what did the scale say after week one? Well, I started the week at 560 pounds. I ended it at 534. That means I went down a whopping 26 pounds. All I could think is, okay, whatever is in this shot, whatever it's made up of, and honestly, when the doctor tried to tell me about it, to try to explain it to me, it shot over my head like a Boeing 777. I didn't really understand the reasoning or the science, I guess I should say, behind it. But after week one, I knew it worked, or at least I felt it worked. Because again, I understand you're going to lose a lot of fluid in the first week, and it was mostly fluid. But again, that fluid had been holding on to my body, and then all of a sudden 26 pounds were gone. So I was elated. I couldn't wait to take that second shot and see how week 2 would end up being. So week 2 started on September 9th of this year, and I thought I would try something a little bit different. Some of the groups I've been reading on Facebook, people talked about taking the shot in their thighs instead of in their stomach, their bellies. And most people reported that they didn't feel nauseous. They didn't have any of the negative side effects from doing it that way. So I wanted to give it a try. So I did it in the right thigh. And it's true. I absolutely didn't feel any nausea. I didn't feel anything, which includes appetite suppression. It was gone. All I wanted to do was eat. I had that voice in my head that kept telling me, eat, 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 eat. It really made me wonder if week 1 was the shot or if it was just me. Reducing my sodium, reducing calories, if that was the reason why I'd lost that weight. Because week 2, my averages ended up being much higher than week 1. So week 2, I averaged 2,004 calories, 126 grams of protein, 25 grams of fiber, and 1,773 milligrams of sodium, which, when it comes to the calories and the sodium, was up quite a ways over week 1. So what did the scale say? Well, the scale told me that I was down 3 pounds for the week. That's respectable. But in my mind, I knew that I could lose 3 pounds in a week on my own without injecting something into my body that I'm using it for something that it ain't designed for. I hope that makes sense. It kind of frustrated me, honestly, and I spent some time that day debating if I was going to take the 3rd shot or not. I thought maybe I could wait a week and see what happened that next week. But then I said to myself, well, you've got him, just do it. You promised the doctor you would go 3 months. So I took that 3rd shot, and thus begins week 3. Week 3 started on September 16th. And it was a good week. I mean, it felt much better than the previous week. And I took the shot in the left side of the stomach, so just to the left of my belly button. And I could feel the appetite suppression again. I could tell that there wasn't something in my head telling me to eat, eat, eat. I felt like I did that first week, which was a complete 180 from what I felt in week 2. By this point, I had lost 29 pounds already with Mounjaro. Combine that with the 35 pounds I had lost before it, and I was at a total loss of 64 pounds. And I started noticing things, honestly. For the first time in a long time, I was able to put my own socks on. I know that sounds weird, but when you're my size, it's really tough. I mean, it really is at times. And I got to the point where I just couldn't do it. So the only way I could get my socks on was to have my wife help me. And sometimes the logistics of that just sucked. Not being able to do things on my own. I couldn't just in the middle of the night get up, put my socks on, put my shoes on, walk out front. I had to wait until I could get help putting my socks on. But starting in week 3, I was able to start doing that on my own. And again, it just seems so silly unless you're in that situation. But the freedom that gave me was spectacular. Another thing I noticed as well is that getting in and out of my wife's car, it was a little easier. I'm not saying it was easy, but it was a little easier. But what I really noticed is I started having a little bit of separation between my gut and the steering wheel. When we drove down here to Oklahoma City, the end of December 2021, my stomach was slammed so hard up against that steering wheel that it was just uncomfortable. And now, 64 pounds later, there was starting to be a little bit of a gap between my stomach and the steering wheel. And I damn near cried the day that I realized that. We were sitting at Costco, and I got in, and I was like, holy cow, just look at this. And it was such a great feeling. It made me realize that this was working, and I just needed to work with it, needed to try to put my frustrations aside and just go with it. And so that's exactly what I did. And I had a great week. So my totals for week 3 were 1,459 calories, 132 grams of protein, only 18 grams of fiber, and 1,047 milligrams of sodium. It was such a great week, and the scale actually moved quite well that week. I went down 6 pounds. So that gives me a total of 35 pounds lost now in 3 weeks on Mounjaro, and a grand total of 70 pounds lost since I started trying to lose weight back in January. So week 4 started off by us driving up north to Kansas City. I wanted to go see our Mariners play at Kauffman Stadium. So we decided to go up for a weekend. We left on Thursday, headed north, and it didn't take long before I had one of those moments that put a smile on my face. So we stopped at this gas station oasis, right? One of those things, that's in between the two sides of a turnpike. So we pulled in there, and the wife wanted to go in, and I thought, it's been a long time since I've actually gotten out and walked into one of these with her. So I thought I would do it. And it was tough. I had my cane, brought it with me. And I walked in, and I went and used the restroom, and then I looked around a little bit, looked at some of the souvenirs, and I told her, hey, I'm going to head back out to the car. She asked if I wanted anything, and I saw some bananas by the register. So I asked her, I said, yeah, would you get me one of those bananas? And so got out to the car, and I sat there, and it hit me. It hit me that I didn't spend any time looking at all the other food. One of the things that I really enjoyed the most about traveling was to be able to see what kind of food they have in different places that you might not get back home, especially like potato chips and such. I didn't look at it at all. There was nothing in my head telling me to get it and eat it now. That food noise was gone. And when I first heard people start talking about this food noise, I actually thought maybe it was just an excuse, something that people used as a reason to justify why they were eating. But once it was gone, man, I realized it's not an excuse. It's a real thing. And if you don't have to worry about food noise, count yourself lucky, because it's real. And those that have it know, and those that have it will fully understand. And at that moment, it was gone. I didn't really even think about anything anymore. As a matter of fact, on that trip, more than once, my wife would say to me, hey, have you ate anything today? And I would have to remind her, yeah, remember that salad I had at the ballpark? That big salad I sat there that took me 3 innings to eat? Yeah, I had that. I'm good. I did take my protein shakes with me on that trip as well, so at least I had something. And then I would have something each day on top of it. So as I mentioned, one day I had that salad at the ballpark, and then another day I went and got vegan sushi from a place in town. Probably not the best option for me, but it sounded so good. I love some vegan sushi. I hadn't had any since we were in Knoxville back in early July, so I really wanted to get some, and it was great. It was amazing, actually. So one of the things I was able to do while in Kansas City was at Game 2. Our seats had a regular box seat and then a folding chair next to it. For giggles, I tried the box seat, and I was actually able to sit in it. And I sat there the whole game. I can't even recall the last time I was able to sit in a box seat at a ball game. Now I will say Kauffman Stadium is definitely older than most stadiums. It was built in 1973, I believe it was. So the seats are probably a little wider than at some of the newer ballparks. But either way, I was able to sit in it and enjoy the game, and that just excited the hell out of me, to be truthful. So as I got back home, I got on the scale and I found that I was up 7 pounds. Now, granted, I weighed on a Monday morning, so I knew I still had a few days to go before my official weigh-in, and I knew that that was going to be from the salt, especially from that vegan sushi. But I was okay with that. And by the time it came around for me to have my official weigh-in that Friday, I was happy. So my totals for that week had me at 1,680 calories, 118 grams of protein, 18 fiber, and 1,028 milligrams of sodium. The scale showed me officially down 1 pound. Just one, but I'll take it. That puts me at 36 lost with Mounjaro and a total of 71 pounds overall for this year. So that was the end of my first month on 2.5 milligram Mounjaro. I think it went good. I mean, I'm down 36 pounds. I can't argue with that. So it took me almost 8 months to lose 35 pounds on my own. And with Mounjaro, I lost 36 pounds in 4 weeks. So I couldn't argue with that at all. And so that concluded my first month, which was on 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro, down 36 pounds for the month. Sounded good to me. I couldn't wait to start 5.0. And that'll be in the next video. So thanks for stopping by and watching this. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my journey to become a fat guy no more, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video.